everybody. Welcome to AKM Live episode 4, joined by COVID Shauno this time and Brian. Welcome everybody. Hope you're all doing well. I am in a different background today. I am at my mother's watching the house, so I'm using this on my MacBook. If it's a little bit different, that is what it will be. Still can't get this camera angle right, to be fair. There we go, that's better. So, today's show, we're going to be doing the warm-up as usual. Then we're going to be talking about James Pearce's Q&A. I was going to do a video on that, but I felt like it'd be more suited to doing like a live on it because it's just going to be so long. The VAR vote, Werner and John W. Henry's comments, the transfer links, and then we have a couple Monday moans today to go through as well. And we also have a little bit of a transition into the Monday moan this week as well that we'll keep going for the foreseeable future as well until we get a new one. So, obviously, again, guys, joined by COVID Shauno. Shauno, you got anything you want to plug before we get going?
I'm just in fucking bits. I can't even plug. I can't plug anything right now. I can't even plug the will to live, not alone. There's Wayne Henley, there's SD Designs 2020 and Redbubble, there's Jack Designs UK, and one person that I haven't plugged that I am going to, and not in that sort of way, but in a positive way, is Adam Naylor LFC. The amount of time and effort that he actually puts in to these streams. He's not like anyone else or anyone else out there that I've seen, and he does an awful lot of research. I guarantee you by the time this podcast is over, this stream is over, he'd be doing research into that. So big up to Adam.
I appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you. And by the way, guys, I didn't tell him to say that.
No. Laura, come
in. So we've got Colin, who's been here for a bit now. I think he was sat waiting before we went live here. So welcome to the show, Colin.
Hey, Colin.
And then we also have, I can't say that one. Is it Miss Cuss 1980? Welcome, mate. Miss Cusi 1980. Adam, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you so much for that. So, guys, we'll get off with this warm-up. And in this one, I wanted to discuss what are your thoughts regarding like Kwanzaa and Curtis Jones missing out on the Euros. So, just start off with me. I was kind of surprised they were even in the squad, to be fair. Like, I'm not going to lie, especially Kwanzaa. I know you think he had like a good season and everything like that, but I don't think... I think the fact that he's in the squad shows the lack of depth that England have at centre-back is all I'll say in that one. Same with Curtis Jones as well, to be fair. I would say the fact that he was in the preliminary squad and he was out of the Liverpool squad for a fair bit shows the lack of depth that England have in them areas. I'll hand it over to you guys. Brian, you've been quite a bit. I'll pass it over to you first, mate.
Yeah, but as far as Curtis Jones goes, I mean, I don't think he's ever played a full season for us, has he? He shows glimpses of greatness. I mean, if he could stay fit for a season, then I think he could push in that squad. But it's a tough midfield to break into, that is. Some of the players who are in there, they take his position. Kwanzaa, I think it's more about the feel and getting him used to what it's like in the national team. I don't think he's ready yet, but I agree with you. There is I think the lack of depth in the England squad as far as the defence. It's a good experience for Kwanzaa, I think, more than anything. Nice experience for him, and it probably, it's a good confidence builder.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Shauno? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'm really not all that interested in international. I don't think Curtis Jones from last season did enough. I mean, I have been a little bit shocked at Southgate's squad for a long time. How in the Lord Jesus you could put Harry Maguire in any sort of squad relating to football is beyond me. I just don't get it. So. I'm never shocked about anything like that. Did you say the Kwanzaa has been picked?
They've both been dropped from like the full squad that's going to the Euros, but they were both in like the preliminary squad, like the 30-man or whatever it was. So yeah, I kind of just thought, did they deserve to be called up, and is that more of an England problem basically for me, like the lack of depth that they got called up? Like, do you think their season that they had justified them being called up to the international full team squad?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I think this is probably Southgate's last opportunity now. I don't think he's going to be around for too long, especially if England don't perform. But again, I mean, I had just gone to my first international in I don't know how many years, and I'm probably blaming getting COVID there. But I haven't really watched the internationals in a long time. All I care about is if these players, if they represent England and if they're playing for Liverpool, that they come back fit. That's all I care about.
Yeah, same here, to be fair. Go on, Brian, were you going to say something, mate?
Well fit, the Chelsea centre-back.
Say again, sorry?
Is Levi Colwell fit? Is it the Chelsea centre-back?
Yeah. I don't think he went though, did he? I don't know if he's in the squad, to be fair, but he has been linked to a move to Liverpool as well, hasn't he, in recent weeks? So
surprised. Well, he has been injured, hasn't he, most of the season, hasn't he?
Yeah. Just see what comments we've got here, guys. We've got Mighty Reds with us, Brandon. Welcome to the show, mate. Hope you're doing well, pal. And then we've got what was it? How do we say his name again?
Muscusi.
1980.
It's from a film called oh my god, what's it called? Euro Trip, I think it's called. It's a really good film. It's a comedy, but it's very funny.
I don't think I've watched it, to be fair, but yeah, he says that basically that side that Southgate's picked is a third side, and that Southgate is a jellyfish. Couldn't agree more, to be fair. I'm not looking forward to the Euros is you all right, Sean? Oh, there you go. You all right?
Is it Euro Trip? Yeah. Is that where he got the name? Because that's brilliant. Oh man, I'm so happy you got that. Schools.
I guess the last bit of the warm-up I want to go over is Trent. Now, he has been filed, logged, whatever you want to call it, as a midfielder for England in the Euros. So I'm just asking the question, do you think that has any sort of impact on his Liverpool future, as that he's been logged as an international midfielder rather than a defender? Bri, come to you again first, mate.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that's what I want him to play in Liverpool's midfield personally. It does remind me of Pirlo type player. You know, he's the guy that can ping the passes, he's spread the plate starts, when the attack starts, when Xavi Alonso do with his passing. I'm looking forward to seeing him play there to see what he can do. I suppose if he has a fantastic Euros, I think it'd be hard not to pick him in midfield for Liverpool. I think, I'm looking forward to seeing him play in midfield. I find it very interesting, very brave from Southgate. But I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah. What about you, Sean?
Well, I don't think I mean, it's not unfamiliar to see him play as a midfielder. I think if it adds more to his game, then brilliant. If it benefits Liverpool, brilliant. What it does for England, couldn't care less. I really couldn't care.
I'm probably asking the two wrong people that normally stream me on here. Well, to be fair, there's quite. Martin probably don't care. You two don't care. So I'm probably asking the wrong people. But yeah, guys in the chat, do you think that the fact that Trent has been logged as a midfielder for England has any sort of impact on his Liverpool playing future going forward? Let's have a look at the comments again. So we've got Craig joining us from Canada today. Welcome, Craig. Colin, I think you just popped in again, aren't you, mate? You were here to start with, waiting for us to go live. So welcome back, Colin. So what was the next thing? Go on, mate.
I put a comment saying Brian looks like he's in a crib.
Oh, yes, you did. I think you've had a different room every time we've done it, haven't you?
Just going from room to room. Question, guys.
Yeah, go on.
Is Southgate going to be the new Man United manager after the Euros?
I hope so. I would love it. I would love to see the promotion videos and all this big bullshit. I mean, like, people are copping on, in my opinion, they're copping on to the bullshit that comes out of Old Trafford. Like the minority investor that came in and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And all it has been is words, that's it. So if he does become manager, I mean, they're actively searching for a manager while they're saying, yeah, Eric, you're okay until we get something better. It's like dating someone you don't like and just say, you're all right for the time being, but if something catches my eye, bye-bye. No.
We've got a comment here from Craig, and he's actually reminded me of something that I should have done at the very beginning of the stream, guys. So my apologies for that. But he obviously goes about saying thoughts and prayers, obviously, with Alan Hansen's family, with what's going on with him right now. I do think, obviously, with the guys at the club have actually made a statement about it. It must be pretty serious. Obviously, don't want to speculate on what that is and everything like that. But yeah, I think I remember saying in one of my streams when I was comparing what Klopp did to Liverpool, Hansen's probably, Van Dijk's probably my version of Alan Hansen, growing up wise, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it'd be a sad state of affairs if.
It's horrible. And I mean, he's still a very young man. Like I was reading, because I mean, I was fairly young when he finished up playing football, but his second full season, because he came in, I think, in 77 in September, and his second full season, he played every game, and Liverpool conceded only 16 goals in 42 games. Just 4 of them were in Anfield.
Wow.
I mean, he was a colossus. I mean, he was an absolute giant. So it'd be absolutely devastating if I mean, I hope to Christ that he pulls through and makes a full recovery. And again, there's a lot of scumbags on social media that have already announced stuff, that may not be true, may or may not be true. And I think it's good how respectful, that we are being to not adding to that, because I think you can very easily be driven into that. I think just our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family, and that's it,
Yeah. Like just before we move on, obviously, like the only memory I've really got of Alan Hansen is Match of the Day. Like I grew up with him on Match of the Day. Just on this comment, Colin, like I'm not comparing him with that. I'm just saying that Hansen was like my mum's centre back that she grew up with and had success with, whereas like Van Dijk is the centre back that I've grown up with and been a man with and had success with, because we ain't had much success in my lifetime. Like, I ain't gonna lie, you know what I mean? Like, I think the last time we won the league before we did it in COVID year was the year before I was born. So yeah, like I hadn't seen much, guys, in regards to success at the club in my life, anyway. So yes, guys. And Bryce, sorry, mate, I didn't even come to you. Have you got anything you'd like to say on Alan Hansen?
Just repeat what you guys said, really. Obviously, thoughts of the family. I grew up with him on the TV too, rather than watching him play. Yeah, he's a legend of the club. Whatever people say about him he was one of the best, and I just wish him, I hope he pulls through. my thoughts are with his family.
Yeah, same. Right then, guys. I think we'll move into the first topic of the stream then. So, which is going to be the James Pearce question and answer mailbag that he did on The Athletic. Now,
My buddy.
I was going to do... Sorry?
My buddy.
Yeah, your buddy, yeah. So, I was going to do a video on this, but the video would have been like 20 minutes long. And I did that poll with you guys in the comments, and you all asked for like the shorter video. So I was like, nah, no chance I'm doing like a full length 20-minute video on this. So what I thought I'd do is we'll go through it together now. We'll go through the questions and the answers. And what I want from you guys, basically, and myself, is whether we believe it or not, because he's made some statements here in regards to a few things that are going on. A few other things as well. He's sat on the fence like they all do. Do you know what I mean? So the first one is basically, are there no immediate plans to do an introductory press conference with Arne Slot like they did with Jurgen Klopp? Now, James Pearce put to this that it was always planned that Slot's unveiling would happen closer to the start of pre-season rather than in early June. I'm looking forward to hearing him set out his plans, but there's no rush. He doesn't have any players to work with for another month, and after a season at Feyenoord, I'm sure he will be enjoying some family time before embarking on the biggest challenge of his life. With Klopp's contract running out until the end of May, the huge outpouring of emotion as his reign came to an end, the club wanted to be respectful to the outgoing manager. Of course, the big difference compared to October 2015, when Klopp was unveiled the morning after his signing, was that he was getting straight down to work at Melwood, given it was mid-season. Slot, in contrast, has a long way to meet his players. Now, before you guys obviously go into this, some people are also saying that basically the club are trying to rinse as much money as they can out of the whole Jurgen Klopp exiting, the Jurgen Klopp merchandise. And they did just announce that they're going to do a book as well. Like, there's going to be a Jurgen Klopp book that's coming out. I think that was announced maybe 7 hours ago or something daft like that. I'm on the fence with that one, to be fair. Like, I would not put that past FSG with some of the stuff that they have done in the past. So I would not be surprised if that was a thing that they went on to do. But I'll pass it on to you guys. Do you guys think that there's anything in that alleged rumor? And do you think that basically James Pearce is hit the money on the head, basically, with that one? Come to you first with that one, Shauna.
Well, you know my views about most of these so-called journalists that cover Liverpool Football Club. I used to believe that these people are in the know, and I think now what they are is they're part of a PR machine that are told to say something and say it. And then they give you kind of bits and bobs to kind of throw you off kilter a little bit. But they pretty much say the same thing, a lot of them. In terms of that, about Ernie Slot, I mean, is he stating the obvious there? I mean, could it be down to the fact that, you know, the Euros will be on? And I don't know. I haven't really paid much heed to it. I'm not like overly concerned about when Ernie Slot decides to do a press conference, whether it's today, tomorrow, or in a week or 2 or 2 weeks. I'm not like Man United fans or Man United that have to do about 15,000 press conferences and promo vids and firework displays and all that hype. I think the less hype about the appointment and the more we can kind of be about the business, I think the better. And that's not to play down Ernie Slot and what he can bring. But I just, whatever Pearce says, I take with a pinch of salt. Always have, always will. from personal reasons as well. So, yeah. All right, Gary, tally ho.
Yeah, before we get to you, Brian, just want to say welcome to Gary Richards and Gareth Turner. I think you popped in early on, mate, as well. Sorry, mate, I didn't see that one earlier. But yeah, make sure you hit that like button, guys, as well. Everyone that's watching, make sure you hit that like button. Yeah, but Bri, so what's your thoughts on that regarding what Pearce has put down about Arne Slot and the rumours of the club trying to get as much money out as they possibly can out of the Klopp departure?
Yeah, that's typical FSG. The marketing is top notch as usual. Rinsing, I feel they are probably going to rinse as much as they can out of Jurgen while they can. And that probably does come in a book form or in, I don't know, some kind of thing that LFC will do. That's what FSG do. That's how they make the money. I feel two ways about it. I mean, all I hear is Arnie Slot. I can't put. No, I've just heard his name. I don't know what he's about. I haven't seen an interview. I do find it. I don't know. Like for me personally, as a fan, I find it like a little bit. I don't know. You may think it's silly, but a little bit disrespectful. In the sense of, we are the lifeblood of Liverpool Football Club, the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's somebody that took in charge of our team and our players, I want to know what he's about. I want him to say hello to the fans. I don't want, I don't know why we waited. Did Rafa have a press conference when he signed? Did Brendan Rodgers have a press conference when he signed? You know what I mean? Or is that? No, they've all had it.
Yeah.
I don't know why Arnie Slot hasn't. I'm not for 1 minute blaming Arnie Slot. It's definitely a club thing.
Yeah.
But we just lost the best manager of my generation anyway. And it is nervy times because we don't know what the new guy's about. But it could settle our nerves a little bit by just him coming on and giving a press conference or, I don't know, answering a few questions on LFC channel or, just saying hello and what he's about and what he's expecting from Liverpool Football Club and what he's going to bring to Liverpool Football Club. All I know so far is how many slots. What's going on?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that I still have the belief that he's already done his interview. They've filmed it. They're just sat waiting to release it. Like, we know that he's had his club tour of the stadium. He's been spotted in the area at restaurants and stuff. So he hasn't really gone on holiday. He's in the area, or he was. Do you know what I mean? Like, like he's been there to be able to do it. So, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. We've got the ref with us today, Paul Turner. He's here. Always Good
to see Spectre on as well.
Yeah, Spectre, mate. Good to have you here, mate, with us.
I think, I mean, look, I mean, we saw what FSG made of Klopp leaving, and the comments or lack of comments made about Klopp leaving and the legacy that he left at the club. So, are we all that surprised that Arnie Slot has come in and there hasn't been much made of it? I don't think so. But I mean, look, it'll happen. He'll put out there'll be a press conference, and I just don't think there should be a massive deal made about it. I think we won't be thinking about this time next year. I think we'll be making our judgment on his first season, and then make our decisions coming into the his second season. So we'll see what happens. I'm not overly bothered or concerned.
Sorry, I just saw the ref's comment there about him being a better ref than me. Probably are, mate. I haven't done it for a couple of weeks now. I probably are. So next up, guys, the next one was, how do we think that Endo will fit into Slot's plans? James Pearce has basically said that Endo surpassed all expectations during his first season at Anfield, which I think he probably did do as well, to be fair. With 43 appearances in all competitions, he proved to be a shrewd late summer signing after overcoming a tough start to life in the Premier League. Liverpool certainly aren't looking to move him on, and I think Slot will enjoy working with him. He has 3 years remaining on his contract. I didn't even know that. Even if he's not a first-choice player next season, Endo is a great option to have in the squad with his wealth of experience. I'm expecting him to stay put. Now, that last bit there, where he says, even if he's not first choice next season, says to me that he is aware, James Pearce potentially, that Liverpool are looking for a new DM. Before we move on, I need to add someone to the stream. So here we go. He's here. I'll probably get done for nudity.
Jesus, right. You're going to be done for nudity. He's going to be kicked out. He's going to be kicked out for nudity.
Here. I'm joining you. I'm joining our little clan from Turkey. How we doing, boys?
All right, mate. You?
Yeah, not so bad. I haven't kept up with anything that's gone on lately, so I haven't got a clue, mate. I was just saying, I've just been watching your live before it came on about Arnie.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch it all, but has he not come out and done anything as the club told him, listen, I don't want you to get as close to the fans as Klopp did? You know, has he done anything? Has he been told to keep an arm's length on it all?
I don't know if it's. I don't know. I think it's like a bit of a club issue for me. In regards to that, I think they've done it all. I think they just sat on it and they're just waiting for the right moment, and they're probably just trying to cream as much money as they can off the old. What is it? The old Jurgen.
What are you laughing at, you numbnuts?
Oh, the Scoozy's hilarious. My wife plays that shit and slow. Thiago's still playing for us.
So what's gone on in the news? Because obviously we're being away having family time. I can't really get into it all, see what's happening.
Well, first Spectre's telling you to put some clothes on, mate.
Because he thinks I'm sexy.
Nothing much. We're just going through.
Okay, you just carry on a minute, and I've got something for you. You just carry on.
Okay.
Mr. Shane, brother, you wait for me.
Right, he's gone. When he comes back, I'll put him back on again. I
don't think that's a good idea.
Probably not. If I get flagged for him, he's going to know about it. I tell you now.
It's definitely not going to get monetized. I mean, honest to God. I wonder if it's Arnie Slot underwear or something he's put on, or I don't know what he's doing.
So, first off, then I guess, what do you reckon about Endo? Do you think he's going to stay around, and do you think he'll have much to play under Slot? Come to you, Shauna.
Well, I think Pearce is kind of sitting on the fence. He's sitting on the fence because he knows what the player or what fans are looking for. So he's kind of putting the hint that, okay, Endo has exceeded expectations. He's got 3 years of a contract. And even if he isn't first team football, he'd make a great backup. So I don't think even Pearce knows. And I think he's just playing it safe. I don't think he, there's much. I don't think he's telling us much really in that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Brian?
I think he's just thinking obvious, really. I mean, I think it was brilliant for us, but he's not. He's a good backup. That's all he is, really. I mean, he didn't have no competition last year, and that's why he played so many games in that position. I think he's done fantastic for us. But I know one thing: James Pearce doesn't know what Arnie Slot wants. So to me, I think he's just making that up. I think at the end of the day, Endo's a good player. He's a good backup. He'll also do the job on the day. So I think it's we are definitely in the market for a holding midfielder.
Yeah, 100%. We'll get to that in the transfer links a bit later on. The next one was then if there's any details about the new kit deal with Adidas. Now, he has put a bit of a Sorry about that. He has put a bit of a long answer, but I'm going to try and cut this down a little bit. And he basically goes on to say that he's not heard anything just yet. And Liverpool stance is that they've only just launched the next season's kit, so they're not going to comment on speculation just yet. But he fully expects Adidas to become the new sponsor of Liverpool as of next season when Nike's contract expires at the end of this season. He goes on to say that he's heard that the capacity of the Adidas money coming in would be over 70 million per season. Now, I think I've mentioned this before in the past that Adidas was probably one of the best shirts that we've had out there, like with the Torres one with the long sleeve and the Gerrards. And, there was, I think you had one the other day, Sean. Was it like black and grey or something, or black and yellow or something like that you shared with us the other day? I think it was anyway. Might not have been, I swear it was Adidas anyway. But it was a few weeks back, to be fair. Sure it was you, or was it Martin that did it? Can't remember now. But someone shared a picture of like a black and yellow Adidas away Liverpool top.
Was it? It was the signed one that I had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on, I think I have it here. This one with the kind of grey.
I can't see it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, yeah. It's Warrior. Isn't it? Oh, is it Warrior? I thought it was Adidas. My bad. So yeah. I would love Adidas to come back. I've wanted Adidas to come back for ages, ever since they left. So, again, question to you, Bri. Do you think Adidas is going to be a good shirt make? Do you think they'll... In fact, change that question. Do you think Adidas will come up with better designs than what Nike has? Because I'm going to just put it out there. I think that every shirt that Nike's made has been shit. I'm just going to say it bluntly. I've not really liked any of them. I've bought them because, but I don't like them. Yeah, there you go. So, Bride, do you reckon Adidas might come up with better designs?
Adidas and Liverpool go hand in hand, I think, as far as some of the best kits is made. Like I said, that was my era when we had Adidas, Rafa Benitez era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Adidas. It's a bit strange. I do find it strange that from FSG's point of view, obviously Nike are a bigger company and they're more worldwide and got further reach. So from a marketing point of view, them going to Adidas, I find it interesting because obviously are they just getting it for the money or are they doing it for the global reach? Because we've sold more shirts under Nike last 2 years, I think, than we've ever did with Warrior or Adidas. So it's interesting.
Yeah. I do wonder though at the same time, is that them Nike sales, is that based on the success of the club at the same time? Like it might just coincide, I don't know. What about you, Sean? What do you think about the potential changeover of Adidas?
I couldn't help but kind of think of that that person on the radio that was requesting a song off the DJ, and he didn't know the name of the song. It was like it goes something like Reebok or the Nike.
Oh yeah.
Rhythm of the night, you mean?
Yeah,
that's looking lovely, Martin. Thank God.
Yeah, baby, it sets you up now, doesn't it?
Yeah, that. To be fair, that is the only one that I've liked that Nike.
I've seen a few downstairs, and I don't know if it's an error, but the Nike, it's a white one.
Yeah, and it's on its side.
Why?
Yeah. That's legit. Yeah.
Well, just in answering your question, Adam, in terms of the jerseys, I mean, I have felt that jerseys. First of all, the reason why Adidas didn't renew their contract with us was we weren't in the Champions League, so they wouldn't go any higher with their deals. So
I love this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm wearing. I'm wearing that.
Yeah, this collar reminds me, and the person who brings me to mind is Mac Manaman and Stan Collymore.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh,
that,
like
yeah.
the kind of
when it folded over.
The cricket.
Yeah, the cricket one.
Yeah.
But like you said before, Adam, the Torres one, amazing shirt. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I hope they bring back the long sleeve ones. To be fair, as well, because I wouldn't.
But that Black Candy, Black Carlsberg one that we had, what I asked Sean about, if we could, where we could get it from.
The Warrior
That
one.
reminds me of, do you know what it was all black, but it had the red ear. Reminds me of their kite.
Oh,
yeah, I don't think that was the same one.
That was the same one.
Yeah, all
it's
these
nice to see you shows on Martin.
I can dig them off for you, brother. Where's Brian? I haven't seen him. I've only got 3 on here.
Oh, he's here. He's in the bottom right for me.
You hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you. It's just got like a black circle.
No.
We don't need to see it anyway. We can hear him.
Spectre.
No.
Adidas ex-CEO at time called Liverpool not big club anymore. So Liverpool were like, so be it. We'll move on to Warrior, then New Balance. And as far as I was aware, I thought New Balance were Warrior.
Yeah,
they bought them out for Warrior.
They bought them out, yeah.
I mean, I remember the first Warrior jersey. Jesus Christ, it was horrific. But they started to kind of do all right ones. But I mean, I'm glad. I mean, we've got a good history with Adidas. I do miss the long sleeve jerseys, if I'm honest with you. I always went for long sleeve. But
we went out before for a meal. Sorry, Sean. And I had this Liverpool top on, and a guy come over to me from out of nowhere, Scottish fella. He was like, "How far can you go back?" I said, "What do you mean, mate?" He went, "How far can you go back?" I went, I ain't got a clue who you are, what you're about. He said, "Liverpool tops." So they go right back down to Candy and Crown Paints. Started reading all the names. He was like, all right. I fucked off. They don't buy me, you fucking weapon. But, so, I don't know if you spoke about it, you probably have. How is this going to go for Mondays? Is it going to go further on, become bigger and better?
Yeah, hopefully.
What's the agenda for it? If you want to speak about, I don't know if it's private. I don't know what.
I don't mind saying it now. Like, I want to try and obviously put it out there on podcasts if I can. Might make it easy for people to be able to find it. I do clip it up and put the individual clips up, but they don't seem to do much. So I'm not sure if there's much traction there. I don't know if that's because of the thumbnails or whatever. I don't know.
I get bored after 10 minutes, mate. That's why I straight in bed dead fast and get out.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I might just bob it onto podcast so people can listen to it without having to watch the video and stuff like that. I'm going to look into that. But yeah, the clips aren't doing much. I'll probably stop doing that. If it takes off, if like more people get interested in everything like that, I might do another day through the week. Get people on, but it depends.
They'd be nice to like invite another guest on it every week or so, and have their thoughts instead of just, just don't like.
I was talking to 2 people, and I'm sure Brandon won't mind me mentioning them. Brandon, Mighty Reds 97, he'd be interested in doing one. And then I was talking to another guy, the Dugout, and he said that he'd be interested in coming on. So, I mean, there's plenty of people interested in. As I said earlier, I think Adam has an awful lot of knowledge.
Adam's creating a good platform at the moment, and I think
platform, yeah.
The agenda that you've got when behind the scenes, what we talk about and stuff, and the way it's being scripted, it's not going in and going, oh yeah, hit that super tense or something. It's a conversation, and other people, you're clipping it up into great little sections, and there's always something to talk about instead of just sitting there twiddling your thumbs and going, right, what do you want to talk about? There's a point to talk. Like Monday Moan, I love that Monday Moan, especially when Sean gets on it. Giving them, don't let anyone else speak. Just give it Sean for the Monday. Let him. It's fine. We can sit here.
I think that probably would be like Sean's segment, to be fair, but yeah.
I love it. I love it, and Sean wins. Absolutely buzz off him.
You've had years of it anyway.
I've had 12 years of you whinging down that logo, mate. 12 years.
I know. That's more than most relationships.
I know, but I love you. Mwah! I'm the only person who stayed in your life, you bitch.
I know. We need to stick with the schedule so far. Anyway, we're going on a big James Pearce Q&A.
Yeah. I was just going to move on to the next one now, actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
So the next question was, is it true that Alexis McAllister has a 60 million buyout clause in his contract? Now, James Pearce has put, Liverpool don't allow release clauses in contracts. You can go right back to when Emre Can was in talks over a new deal and he wanted a release clause, and Liverpool dismissed the idea and he ended up leaving on a free agent. When his contract expired, McAllister is going nowhere. And I second that, to be fair. Like, as soon as I saw that, I didn't believe it to be true or anything whatsoever. So, yeah, Martin, thanks for your kind words, mate. I feel like I just kind of brushed over that then. Sorry, mate. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you know what, mate? That was a heart to heart, and you just, broken.
So yeah,
I was going to send you £1,000 on your super thanks.
Oh, God.
Because you didn't ask for it.
What do you think about
an energy drink?
What do you think about the release clause not being in his contract for McAllister, Martin? Do you think there's anything? Are you happy there's not one there, basically?
Yeah, I wouldn't put a release clause in anyone's contract to say you sign for the club. You do as we say. Your player's not bigger than the club. The player will stay. Right, you get your signing on fee. You get this. This is the deal. I want a release clause in it. No, we're not offered it. If you don't like it, don't sign. You're Liverpool until the end of your contract.
Mm-hmm. But you, Brian?
Sorry, Martin, I do agree with Martin. I don't want no player. To me, that's a get-out clause. Feels like it's a stepping stone then. And I don't want to be a stepping stone club. I want to be, this is the biggest club. You play, So, yeah, no, I think buyout clause is a no-go. I do believe in James Pearce on that. I think that's something you need to know.
Yeah. What about you, Shano?
I'm probably a little bit biased when it comes to anything that comes out of James Pearce and me asking what I think about him, because I think I've made it fairly clear what I think about him. In terms of the release clause, that's all well and good that we don't have a release clause, but we also lose players on free transfers that we shouldn't have. Genie being certainly one of them. The fact that, and I know we'll touch on this later on, but Trent, in his final year of his contract, the fact that the player like Trent at his age could go down to the wire and could be now poached if we don't sort out that contract, I think that's fairly piss poor. So I don't think we're at the stage of giving ourselves an old reach around or a pat on the back. I think we really need to work a little bit harder on our contract negotiations. And although we may not have a release clause, we need to be a little bit more intelligent when it comes to signing on contracts.
I don't think it's the player who wants the release clause. I think it's the agents, so they can offer their players and get more money for them if they can. You know what I mean?
But they've got they know what it's quicker. It's easier for them to make a move basically if someone's interested. Yeah. We'll come to that question you've got here in a minute, Gareth, because he does touch on the contracts for Trent and that lot a bit further on. So we'll come back to that. So the next one I'm just going to skip a few here because there's a few that aren't really that interesting. The next one was, do you think that next season will be considered a free hit for Slot? Now he goes on to say, I don't think that there's such a thing at a club the size of Liverpool. Slot will certainly be cut some slack as he adjusts to English football and tries to get his methods across to players. But he will also need to get results along the way and give fans something they can really buy into. Liverpool have to retain their Champions League status. The good thing for Slot is that he's not coming in to try and improve on perfection. With the defensive frailties, the slow starts in games and the lack of clinical edge in the final third that contributed to a disappointing end to the season, there's plenty to work on. And this is a squad full of young talent with a lot of development to come. Now,
why was it disappointing? I was happy with that end of the season because we achieved further and more than what we were expected to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if anybody, I think we covered this on another stream, but
yeah,
basically, I do think that if someone had offered us the Carabao Cup and a third place finish at the beginning of the season after last year, you'd have taken it. But I do think a lot of the hysteria, shall we say, surrounding the whole end of the season was because that Klopp was leaving. And I think that did put a bit of pressure onto it all. I don't know. But what do you think, Sean? Do you reckon that Arne Slot has got a free hit next season?
I think if there's a Liverpool fan out there, and I have to say this because I feel that strongly about it. If there's a Liverpool fan out there that is saying you have a free shot or a free hit this season, you must be out of your tiny little minds. There should be no such thing as a free shout, or you have this season to mess about and see what happens. You're there to compete at the highest level. You're there to
don't break something that's not broken.
No, but you're there to win. You're there to win. There's this bullshit of we'll see how you get on. Do you know what I mean? I like, if you look at it, because I got some stats before I became ill. Okay, so the summer rebuild was already touted at Anfield before Jurgen Klopp's departure after a after a midfield shake-up last summer. The focus is likely to be defensive reinforcement. Virgil van Dijk's future remains uncertain. Matip's contract has gone. He's gone. Trent is entering the final 12 months. And Robertson injury issues remain a concern. The defensive stats last season were notably worse than in recent years. We only had 10 clean sheets last season and 414 shots faced. So, I think Slot really needs to look at that. He really needs to sort that out. I think if he doesn't make an improvement in the first season, if there's no sign of improvement, I don't think that should be, look, it's only his first season. I don't agree with that.
Listen, can I just point two things out? Because I've got to go back out in a minute. One's irrelevant, but one is irrelevant. How long is it going to be before Klopp opens his mouth, and will he? I think he will soon, but I don't think he's going to do it yet. Do you think he will?
I think that he will have signed some sort of non-disclosure thing.
Yeah.
Or it might be involved in his contract anyway,
right,
where he can't say anything for a length of time.
Yeah.
So maybe this time next year, he might be a little bit more forthcoming, especially if he gets another job next year.
Yeah.
But maybe. What about you, Mark? Brian, what do you think? Do you think Klopp will ever say, are you going, Martin? Sorry.
Yeah, I've got to go. The other point is, as well, and we've said it all along, look out for Salford City FC next year as well. Toby's just signed for them.
Oh, well done, Toby.
Nice one.
So,
well done,
he's going in as a number 2, but he's got to do the first season training as well with him. So as from next season, he's going to be coming through the time. He's got them lady girls from Man United there with them. But yeah, listen, lads, I've got to go. I know I'm on holiday, but I try not to let you down. Sean, you wait till I drop in your DMs in a bit, baby.
Okay, babe.
Love you.
Bye, mate. Cheers,
bye.
So yeah,
he's a crazy
right.
fucker.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? He probably derails the thing sometimes, but in a good way. So I guess just to touch on what you mentioned there regarding Klopp before I move on a little bit more. Do you think do either of you think that Klopp will ever open his mouth about what happened at Liverpool?
I don't think he will. I don't think he will. I think he's a man of. He's got respect. He doesn't want to destroy his legacy at Liverpool Football Club. I think it ended in a nice way. I think he's happy with the way it's ended. I don't think he's going to add any turmoil or anything to hurt the club. I don't think he'll badmouth Liverpool Football Club in the future. I think he'll only have nice things to say about him. That's my personal opinion.
What about you, Sean?
I would be inclined to agree with Brian, but I definitely think there is more than, it's like Transformers, more than meets the eyes. I definitely think there is a little bit more substance to the reason why he's leaving. I mean, we could say that it's down to energy or lack thereof, and maybe that's, certainly one of the reasons. But I definitely think there is a lot more to it. I think some of what we're about to cover later on, I think, tells the story that not all is well, or the relations between owners and Klopp weren't exactly great. And Spectre, don't ever diss Transformers, man. I'm a big Transformers fan. But he's probably a big fan like myself. But and that's not me, wanting to pick at FSG and nitpick and look for something there isn't. I think it's very obvious if you have a dislike towards someone but are trying to put on a face where you're trying to be civil.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see Klopp. I think once they continue to have him as ambassador of the club, like they did Kenny, I can't see him ever saying anything bad about John W. Henry, Tom Warner, or Mike Gordon.
Yeah, I get that point. To be fair, and I could probably, I think, like Bryce said, he's a man, innit? He's like a man of his word, and I don't think he would say anything to shit stir at a club that he's affectionate about, even if it is putting his own point across, basically, in regards to what actually happened. I think he wouldn't want to, because there would be some fans out there that see that he's bad mouthing the club instead of just the owners. Some people can't separate the two. But yeah, maybe I can see that point as well. To be fair,
well, look at Genie. When Genie came out and he said all that stuff about the club, look at how some fans looked at him. They weren't too happy. So I think, unless FSG sell up and someone else takes over the club, Klopp in 10, 20 years' time writes a book, maybe. But yeah.
Just a bit cautious for time, guys. We've been on this topic. I'm going to just do two more of his Q&A. Basically, he was asked a question: out of Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, and Mohamed Salah, who do you think is most likely to leave? And he reckons that Diaz is the most likely to leave. He says that he doesn't. Well, just to say that he doesn't. He think Núñez has endured a bad end to the season, but Slot's arrival marks a fresh start for him. And he says that Salah has given no indication that he's looking to move, and the Saudi Pro League believes it has a better chance of signing him on a free transfer next year, basically. But for Diaz, he believes that there's so much noise around him, with talk of interest from PSG and Barcelona, as well as Saudi Arabia. Whether that leads to a serious bid or Diaz pushes for a move, only time will tell. But it would probably take a big offer, certainly well in excess of 50 million, that Liverpool paid for him in January of 2022 to convince Liverpool to sell the Colombian. Do you believe? Well, not believe. Do you agree with that statement? Do you think that Luis Diaz, out of the three of Salah, Nunez, and Diaz, is the most likely to leave? Brian, I'll come to you first. Who do you reckon is the most likely to go out of the three?
I think Salah is the most likely to go. I don't think Liverpool will not keep Mohamed Salah this summer if he does not sign a contract. Liverpool won't let him go on a free. There's too much money there for John Henry to lose. I think Diaz is probably it's more interested probably in Diaz. I mean, from Barcelona, we heard Paris Saint-Germain. I suppose there's a possibility of going, but realistically, if Salah doesn't sign a new contract, I can't see FSG keeping him and letting him go on a free next summer. So I would disagree with that personally.
Yeah.
Only because of the contract situation surrounding Salah. I don't think Liverpool will get rid of both. I think there's a lot of interest in Diaz, but we're not going to let Diaz let Salah go on a free next year.
Yeah. What about you, Shauna? What do you think?
Oh, keep him on. Is he always subscribed to us?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's changed his name. I've seen that picture before.
Man, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I haven't laughed for I don't know. It's all speculative talk. You can't really say, and I tend not to try and add to it. I try not to get my head bogged down by it. What players stay. What players leave. We're going to find out, I'd say, fairly soon who stays and who goes. Which one of the three would I like to stay? I'd like all three of them, but I'd also like to look at maybe, bringing someone else in, because we've an injury-prone Jota. So I don't know. I can't see Diaz being more likely to leave, even though it looks like Willie Lopez from Ghost. That's brilliant.
One thing before we do move on, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Darwin Núñez actually did score a hat-trick for Uruguay the other day. Now, I don't know how many shots he took. I don't know where the shots were from, but that's not bad going, is it, considering he had a bad end to a season for him to actually bob an hat-trick in. Hopefully he carries that on to Liverpool next year. So the last bit I want to cover regarding this whole Q&A from James Pearce, you might find this one interesting, Shano. So, because we saw what his relationship became like with Jurgen Klopp towards the back end of the tenure, where Klopp basically called him out and didn't want to talk to him, and I used to watch the press conference, and whenever James Pearce asked a question, Klopp looked like he was going to jump over his desk like that guy did to that judge in America and just rip his head off. But anyway, so the question is your priority to get off on the right foot with Slot, given your difficulties with Klopp in press conferences in the past? Now, James Pearce goes on to say, I think those difficulties were overblown. There's bound to be friction at times, especially when results aren't great. As a journalist, it's your job to find out information a manager probably doesn't want in the public domain. On the one occasion that Klopp refused to answer my question, it turned out that the article was written by someone else in a different publication, which had annoyed him, and he later apologized in private. Well, no one knows that, do they? You're not going to get that collaborated, are you? I got on very well with Klopp for most of his time here. I covered the vast majority of his games and friendlies. There's a lot of press conferences. I'm excited about reporting on Slot, and it's about being fair and balanced, asking what issues that matter to the supporters rather than thinking, I don't want to ask something that might rile him. Right, before I let you guys go off on one here, this is where I might blow my top with this. That is the biggest load of bollocks that I've ever heard a journalist come out with. Like, honestly, guys, and you in the chat, when was the last time we saw a journalist ask a journalistic question that actually meant something? Like all they do generally is just sit there and go, so who was injured today? All right, yeah. And they never ask questions regarding like, well, you know, they're not going to get the answers about transfers. But you know, when stuff's going off in the background, like when the club sale and stuff like that, they never ask like pressing questions because they don't want to get kicked out. They don't want to lose their access to the club. They don't want to do anything like that. So that there to me is the biggest load of bollocks that is said in this whole thing. Like, go on, Sean, you take over. You don't like James Pearce. What do you think on that?
So here's the definition of a journalist. A journalist is someone who is naturally skeptical and doesn't hold to one position. They're not controlled by elites and elite opinion. A journalist is meant to exist on the margins and accept social isolation. There are very few journalists, podcasters, and YouTubers that cover Liverpool Football Club that can say that they're true journalists. And James Pearce, just so you know who you're talking to, I was the guy that superimposed you onto Brockback Mountain, yourself and John W. Henry. That was me. Because when I questioned these owners and the net spend, and when Liverpool won a game, or sometime around September 2017, you were like, where are the net spend boys now? About a year ago, you were questioning the net spend. I'm glad that it took you so long. You have an obligation as a journalist to do exactly what that says, to be naturally skeptical, to not hold to one position, to not be controlled by elites and elite opinion. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is unfortunately, with Liverpool YouTube, Liverpool podcasters and journalists, they are controlled by elite and elite opinion. And I don't know this. I only know this based on how I was dealt with by certain journalists when I was doing my podcast on YouTube. I know you can certainly pass on the good wishes, and you can tell him, Brandon, that I was the guy that did it. I know he knows because he was mouthing off about it, but genuinely, he's full of bullshit with that comment, because if Klopp had mistaken him for another journalist, Klopp would have been big enough to have come back in the next press conference and say, I mistaken identity, I didn't answer Mr. Pearce's question, and I thought Mr. Pearce had written some article, and I found out it was someone else. That Klopp would have done that, because now Klopp is gone. Pearce is saying that, and I don't believe it to be true. He's full of shit.
100%, because as well, you've got to remember there was that one occasion where that happened, but then it happened afterwards as well. It happened so many times after that occasion. It wasn't like that was the one occasion that never happened ever again. So yeah, and then you are right. And I think as well, I think a lot of this is around all clubs, to be fair. And I think it's because of social media and everything like that. Like, we've seen all these journalists that were supposedly so big in the past, you know, I won't name. Well, okay, go on. Lynch and Neil Jones, if that's his name, both of them were pretty big back in the day with print, and now that's gone. You've seen Lynch launch a YouTube channel trying to become the next Fabrizio Romano. Neil Jones did a Substack, but now he's quit that because he's moved on to other things. It's just none of them ask the pressing questions that the fans want to know. Like you say, when you with the net spend boys, when you bring out all these stats and you show the figures, how little Liverpool have spent, yeah, fine. Liverpool had some decent success during that era and did this, that, and the other. But there was also players that Liverpool missed out on because they wouldn't spend an extra 5 million. look at Timo Werner. Like, yes, he turned out to be shit at Chelsea and he's shit at Spurs. He might have been fucking amazing at Liverpool.
Yeah.
But Jurgen Klopp had to personally phone him and tell him, I can't make it happen because they won't give me the money. Like, and then you've got the other one where Daniel Marlin, again, this was back when he was in Holland and he went to Dortmund eventually. They wanted like 20 million for him, 25 million for him, but they were told to basically like sell that. The Klopp and the team were told they had to get Shaqiri and Origi off the books before they could go get Daniel Marlin. Like, why couldn't you just buy him and then sell them afterwards? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, none of this shit makes any sense to me. And people like that don't like. Why didn't they ask them questions? Why didn't they? Why, if we knew this, they knew this, because they'll know more than what they tell the public because they won't be allowed to say it. So if they knew the stuff about Werner, they knew the stuff about Daniel Marlin, Jude Bellingham, for fuck's sake. Like, if you believe the rumors that goes on about that, Bellingham was in Liverpool with his entourage, with his family, meeting Liverpool, and then the day after, Liverpool have pulled out of the race, and then it comes out afterwards that
we weren't going to.
I'm watching what I say, but like, that basically Klopp had built this relationship with the Bellinghams, and they'd had the deal signed, and then John W. Henry, the corpse, turns around and goes, "I'm not financing it," and then Klopp's made out to be a fucking fool. But and then when all the shit hits the fan, we get into the same window, and the more money than we would have spent on the bastard Bellingham deal, they turned out and bid it on fucking Caicedo. Are you fucking joking? Like, honestly, why was that never asked? Like, why did nobody turn around at a fucking press conference and go, well, you said you didn't have no money to buy Bellingham, and that's why you bought McAllister and Szoboszlai, because you wanted to spread the money over more players rather than investing it in one. So why did you go and bid 115 million on one player after you'd already bought Szoboszlai and fucking McAllister? So
yeah, but I mean, why didn't Redmen TV do it? Whether they were under a paywall or not, why didn't Anfield Rap do it? And thank you for buying one of my stickers, Anfield Rap. But I mean, these are like, also look at the main contributors.
You're moving the cat. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So, like, look at the main contributors of, let's say, for example, Anfield Rap. Okay, they all contribute to each other, and that's great. That's fine. That's fine. But if they're all saying the same thing, that's not fine, because it's all given a one-sided view. Now, what I absolutely hate is the fact that you have someone like James Pearce that is talking about Klopp when Klopp has left.
Not there to defend himself, or
not there to defend himself.
Yeah.
Has Klopp come out and said, I got it wrong? No.
Nope.
So I think Pearce is another thing, and a thing that you picked up on is you now see a lot of these journalists doing the circuit, going around smaller YouTube channels. I know of one particular guy who I called Mr. Fenway, and he works for the Fenway Echo, or the Liverpool Echo, sorry. And in each and every single interview he does, he says, I'm not a Liverpool fan, so I don't have any horse in the race. Now, I'm sorry, but
I know what you're on about.
I can't think of his name. It's going to kick my... Will you put it in the personal chat? Because I can't remember his name. It annoys the shit out of me. But, yes, fucking hey. So, am I allowed to mention him?
Go for it.
David fucking Powell. David Powell. I mean, the other thing is lads, the Fenway Echo. I mean, I don't think anybody in Liverpool actually would wipe their arse with the Fenway Echo or the Liverpool Echo.
Not nowadays.
Definitely not nowadays. But they wrote a 2-week.
Oh, is he being kicked off? Oh, he's back. FSG got you then, mate. FSG got you.
Did FSG cut me off? John is like, Linda, he said far too much. Cut him off.
Brian,
got me laptop.
well, let's just bring you in, Brian. I've been quiet for a bit. Like, what do you think about that in regards to what we've just been talking about? You got any thoughts or anything like that?
I don't class them as journalists, really. I just class them as mouthpieces for the club, innit? I think they're all on the payroll.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of these YouTube, like Redmen TV and all that. You know, they get the exclusive interviews with Jurgen, and you know, they get to go on the pre-season tour backstage, speaking to the players, and you know, that comes through being puppets, really, innit?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get those benefits if you're controversial towards a Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
So people like James Pearce and all that, I feel they're not journalists; they're just mouthpieces for Liverpool Football Club. They plan expectations. So expectations of how much we spend, or Liverpool on him for this, or Liverpool on going for this guy because of this reason. Whereas Jurgen's expectations was to win everything, and he took us to that level, and I want to stay at that level. I don't want to hear people like James Pearce saying, "Oh, you know, we're going back to buying youngsters, and we're looking in the Championship for the future talent." You know, I feel that we're at the top, and that's where I want to stay. And people like James Pearce and all that making excuses. They're just the mouthpieces for the club, managing our expectations.
100%, pal. 100%. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Like, yeah, just, yeah, I just think, yeah, I agree with what Sean was saying and what you just said then in regards to all of it. It's all just the fun and games and everything like that.
Yeah,
what specs did just put here? Top red channel sold themselves for to be interesting if you ever. Yeah, true, mate. Like, it's a shame Sean was not here, actually. I think he wanted to bring another topic up, but we'll move on to the next one now, with him not being here. But yeah,
I'm here.
Oh, yeah, mate. Sorry, man. I guess what Spectre just mentioned there in regards to when FSG is gone, will the top red channels and journalists be gone with them? I guess we're going to leave that. Are we going to leave that to Monday mornings? I think we will do, won't we?
Can do, yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave it for that. So again, we'll move on. We're going to talk about the VAR vote, and this may be a little bit of a shorter topic because there's nothing much really to go on. But we did talk about it in regards to it was going to happen. The votes happened, and basically, Wolves was the only team that voted against having VAR for next season. Sorry, all other clubs, obviously including Liverpool, voted to keep VAR for the foreseeable. There wasn't any sort of terms in regards to improvements to it, what we might expect from VAR from next season, blah, blah, blah. But I guess just right quickly, Brian, what's your opinions on VAR still being around next season?
My opinions are Liverpool Football Club, Arnie Slot, cannot moan about VAR anymore. They voted to stay in. I wanted out, personally. I think it destroyed our season last year. I think we could have had 6 to 7 more points. I think a lot. We had a couple of red cards that shouldn't have been red cards. I think they can't do the job right, and I'd rather VAR not be there and let it down to human. What's the word I'm looking for? Human error, rather than 5 people sitting in the room and being corrupt. Because that's how I feel VAR is corrupt. So next year, when Liverpool Football Club get done over, and they set a statement out, we're going to try and take this to court, and do what we can. They voted for it, so they've made the bed. Now it's time to lay in it, isn't it?
Yep.
Where I see it.
What about you, Shauna? What do you reckon about this vote?
Well, I have about as much faith in these votes as the Irish local and European election, which just basically we have been complaining for years about the government, and yet we've voted the same fuckers in. And in terms of VAR, the idea of VAR is to assist referees. The officiating last season was nothing short of dire. The officiating of the VAR system was nothing short of dire. So what do you do to improve the officiating overall? Do you get rid of the system that's meant to help the refereeing? Or do you get rid of the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
So it really all depends on what the Premier League are planning to do. I don't think it is a black and white thing. Well, we voted against ruling out VAR. Maybe there's a little bit more to this than they're letting on. Maybe there's plans to put something else in place. Maybe they have sold this with the new technology that will show automatically the offside. Maybe they're saying, well, this is going to rule out all of the mistakes that have been made with VAR. Maybe give it another season and see what happens. So that's my view on it.
Yep, I couldn't have said it better myself. Just on Ian's comment here before we move on. Watching the Challenge Cup final on Saturday, my 12-year-old said, "Why can't football do the same as this? It's brilliant." A 12-year-old said it. Enough said. Like, I don't understand why we don't have the same system in place that they had in was it the World Cup in Qatar, with all the AI that was involved with it, where they could tell when people were offside and stuff like that. Definitely need to bring something out of that. Brandon has put this on. They should open a referee transfer. yeah, that's good. That's a good one. That is, yeah, that's a good one. No, you've got it in your minds, I think, Shauna. So we'll leave that again for that one. I don't want to spoil it for you guys. Like, it's going to be a good morning today. It's going to be a really, really good morning. We didn't have one last week. So then, guys, another topic that may get us fired up a little bit, I guess, here. Werner and John W. Emery. The comments that they've mentioned over the past few days. So I have the article loaded up on my phone here. I did send it to you guys to have a look through. I know you kind of gave up, Shauna, because it was so far down. So I'm going to skip a lot of the fluff here, and I'm just going to stick to the quotes. So we'll stick with Werner first. So he has said that basically this: I'm determined one day to have a Premier League game be played in New York City. I even have the crazy sort of idea that there would be a day where we would play one game in Tokyo, one game a few hours later in LA, another game a few hours after that in Rio, and then another game after that in Riyadh, and make it a sort of day where the Premier League is celebrated. Now, I did do a video on this, so I'll quickly just give my thoughts, and I'll hand it over to you guys. What do these guys not understand about the English game? It's a very American way of doing things. Like, I've got into my NFL over the past few years, and I've been to the NFL games in Wembley for the past 2 years. I'm going again this year. I'm off to Wembley and I'm off to the Tottenham game as well. I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. They're the games that I go see. And I wonder what their fans feel like over in Jacksonville, knowing that they only get 18 games a season and 2 of their games are being played in England every year. Well, they have 1 game every year, and then every 4 years they have 2 games. And it's not just that. They've got games in Germany. They've got games. I think they're playing the opening weekend in the NFL this year. One of the opening games is being played in Brazil. Of all places, right? So it's a very American way of thinking about it. It's a very American way of doing it. Yes, the money would be there. Yes, it probably would expand your supporter base and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's not going to, it ain't going to work. And then he also says as well, this is just some more quotes before I hand it over, guys. He says, it's a very competitive business. I think 20 years ago, there was a lot more low-hanging fruit where a Theo Epstein could find success in an avenue that other people weren't looking at. But sport is now big business, right? Teams in the NBA are going for $4 billion. I don't think we have any secret sauce, is what I'm saying. And then he goes on to say about the New York game that he would basically try and look for figuring out a way to offer very cheap travel and accommodation so that if people from Liverpool wanted to go to the game in New York, they'd be able to afford it. Now, again, before I hand it over to you guys, how cheap is he thinking this is going to make? Because if I wanted to go to a Liverpool game from Yorkshire, it'd probably cost me about 50, 60 quid for train fares. Probably the same again in price per ticket, if not more. And then if I'm staying over the night, a couple £100 there. So you're probably looking at about £300-400 for me to go to a game, and I'm in the same fucking country. So like, how much money does he really think it's going to cost your everyday fan to travel over to America to watch a game? And why would they go? Like, the atmosphere ain't going to be the same. So yeah, go on, Brian. I'll hand it over to you first. What do you think on all of this?
Well, obviously, that's what pre-season's for, isn't it? I mean, we go to Australia, we go to America, we go to China, so the fans can see the team, see the players, watch training sessions. That's what pre-season's for. I don't want my club or team playing a home game in New York, personally. No disrespect to people in New York or anything like that, but if you want to watch Liverpool Football Club, come to Anfield, experience everything, not just well, it's not. I don't know. Wouldn't even know how to describe that type of game. As far as Werner goes, he's just doing what FSG does best, isn't it? Business, money, 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 money. That's all that is. He's so far out of touch with football, Liverpool Football Club, and the fans. That just there puts the icing on a cake for me. Guy's an idiot. All I can say, guy's an idiot. I have seen that John Henry has said different. So I think he's a little bit. He's got a little bit more about him, but I don't think he knows too much about it himself. Like I said, the only best thing about FSG is Linda. I love Linda.
Go on then, Shano. What do you think about that?
Linda in. So here's the thing. If Tom Werner was tuned in to Liverpool Football Club over the last, let's say, 12 months, he would have heard Klopp going on about 12 kickoffs, especially after international friendlies or international breaks, right? Mm-hmm. And now he's talking about fucking flying over to fucking Dubai or fucking Hong Kong and having a fucking home game. I'm too sick to fucking tell you what I think of Tom Werner and his stupid comments. Listen, you Americans need to stop. You've signed, you've bought a club. You know what the rules and regulations are when you have signed. I'm getting you in trouble there, Adam. You know the rules and regulations. When you sign up to a club, you sign up to the Premier League. You've tried to breach that with signing up to the Super League, knowing full well what was going to happen. You have absolutely no consideration whatsoever for the players, fitness levels, and whatnot. There's no way that it's going to work out. It's going to be more cost effective. And the reason why John W. Henry has shot this down is because John W. Henry would have to then go to these games. And if he's not going to go to ones in Anfield, he sure as hell's not going to go off to Hong Kong or Dubai or whatever to watch Liverpool play. So I really think it's an absolute disgrace. I mean, it was when, what's his name, the Chelsea guy, the Chelsea owner,
Todd Bowley.
yeah, he wanted a north versus south.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I mean, Klopp is like, oh, that's very good, but where are you going to get the time to do this? Now they want to play in different different countries. I mean, I remember a time when Wimbledon, they were talking about moving Wimbledon FC to Dublin, and there was a big no that the fans caused a holy uproar over that. So, I think it'd be the death of football to kind of, and go to different parts of the world just so they can get their money. It cost me nearly €1,000 to get over to Liverpool to a match.
Mm.
It can cost me €1,000 for a day trip. It can cost me under €400. So for those who like to claim that they're local fans and are top reds and are getting their perks from the club, it doesn't cost you anything. It costs me a whole lot more. So it's a disgusting comment, and yeah, great one, John, that you've shot that down, but only because he doesn't want to bother going to the games.
Well, it's good that you finished on that one there, because I wanted to just go over them comments that Henry's come out with, and I wanted to also ask if there's something, if that is slightly worrying, that the two people at the top of the company are on different pages. Like, so basically, the article goes on to say, and I'm going to read this bit as well, because I think this is quite interesting. It goes on to say, Henry eventually responded to my pressing on Liverpool. He made it clear that Werner's plans for a New York game were not something that I advocate or I'm particularly interested in. I think I'll just leave the next bit after, because that's his Klopp's comments after that. So to me on that, because this bit's in quotation marks, not something that I advocate or I'm particularly interested in. I think that last bit there sums up his feelings of Liverpool. He's not particularly interested. Like, how can the principal owner and his second in command, same level, whatever, be on completely different pages in regards to this? And I think, was it Spectre made a comment earlier here about, no, wrong one. I got to find it again. Was it this one? Yeah. Henry and Werner don't agree much for business partners. If you remember the rumours that Werner wanted to sell Liverpool, but Henry disagreed, and now we have this from Werner. Like, they've been on different pages for a long time with these two, by the sounds of it. It's worrying, I reckon, in regards to that. But the significance of how short he speaks about everything regarding Liverpool, I'm going to do the Jurgen Klopp comments now. I don't know if you guys have heard these or seen these yet or anything like that, but I'm going to read these comments out, and I'm going to pass it on to Sean now to give his opinion of it. So he goes on to say, FSG's more immediate task has been handling Jurgen Klopp's January announcement that he would step down at the end of the season after almost a decade in charge. In May, a day after Klopp's emotional farewell, Arne Slot was confirmed as successor. Will he be John W. Henry's final head coach at Liverpool? In late 2022, it was revealed that FSG were exploring a sale for the club. While Henry officially called it off 3 months later, the process resulted in a minor investment by the emerging sport-focused private equity firm Dynasty, who value Liverpool at more than $5 billion US. Now, Dynasty, before we move on, they've got ties to FSG. I think someone who's on the board of Dynasty is also on the board or works for FSG in regards to that. So that's something that should be now put out there. And then this bit here, Henry paid tribute to Klopp. Simply magical tenure at the club over emails. Now, this is the quote that is added to this article from John W. Henry regarding Jurgen Klopp, who has increased the value of the club that he owns and blah, blah, blah. Here we go. You ready for this? The force of his personality and emotions lifted all of us who support the club to a level I've not seen before anywhere. There you go. Go on, Shano.
So, first of all, David Ginsburg, he's the senior advisor of Dynasty Equity. I thought like we were going to have like a Joan Collins or something like that. If anyone is born in the 80s, they would have heard of Dynasty. I for a man, and I'm really, really sorry, Mrs. Naylor, if you're hearing me, an Irish lad using abusive language in your kitchen. I'm very sorry. But and I'm really trying not to. I'm just too sick.
I'm home alone. Don't worry about it. Go for it.
Oh, okay. For Jurgen Klopp to have dedicated 9 years of his life and to have worked with the limitations that he had and to have done what he did, and for the American ownership of FSG, minus Linda, to have shown little or no respect towards the man, or said nothing, even at the farewell, or even been at the audience with Jurgen, or even put out a better statement like what that was, and even put it out in the program. Like I actually have yet to read it. I don't think there's even a statement from FSG about Jurgen Klopp and what he's achieved at the club and how much he'll be missed.
Yep.
Now, there's not many managers that can last 9 years and walk out of their own accord. So that tells me that not all is well. It's kind of like, what do you think of your work colleague? You know, and that really tells all. It says, I hate this person, but I'm not going to tell you I hate this person. Or I dislike this person, but I don't want to mention that. I think it's an absolute disgrace. I think he's a walking PR mess. And I think he still has about as much personal skills as a corpse, which is why he's called the corpse. If anyone remembers him when we lost the FA Cup with Kenny, he refused to shake that man's hand. Kenny Dalglish. There's a stand. Do you remember that? There's a stand named after that man. Is there a stand named after John W. Henry? I think not. And we have, some fans have absolute kissed John W. Henry's ass. Kissed his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And have made absolute excuses for this man. Oh, well, you know, they're businessmen. They're businessmen. Okay, they're businessmen. But to me, it's an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
Yep. Let's have a look at some of these comments here. Ian, FSG and the Glazers have clubs in England that they couldn't give a toss about apart from money. Each gives them, which keeps their empires afloat. Agreed. Spectre, anyone see the walking corpse? Only time smiled was Pep Linders nearly fell off the stage. Shaking hands at each other. Bloody hell. I guess, though, just before we move on to the transfer segment of this stream, this is going to be a pretty long stream, is this, guys? Oh, sorry, Bri, do you want to have any comments?
I didn't say anything there.
Sorry, mate.
John W. Hen. Right, so I'll put a different spin on it. My spin is this. One of the only things that I hated about Jurgen, which was very, very little, is how we stuck up for FSG so much.
Hmm.
You know, Jurgen kind of didn't help himself because he stuck up for FSG so much, you know? And I think that played into their hands. That's why there's a split between the fan base in the sense of FSG, are they bad owners, are they good owners? You know, Klopp never really run them down. when he should have been running them down. Like you said about Bellingham earlier, with John Henry's decision, Klopp got made to look like a fool, but he still kept it. What I'm saying is, it's hard to criticize FSG when our the best manager we've ever had is always stuck up for him. But if in reality of it, I think FSG this year with Arne Slot, if he doesn't get the success that he did with Jurgen, I think there will be a different opinion and there'll be a lot of pressure on FSG to either spend the money or sell up. Personally, that's my opinion on John W. Henry. I think it's disrespectful how they have not said more about Jurgen. I personally want a statue of Jurgen, which would be in FSG's favour to do that.
Steven Gerrard also wants one as well.
Yeah, exactly. But they've done nothing really that I can see to thank Jurgen. After everything that Jurgen's done for them, so yeah, it doesn't surprise me, but it does really. I don't know why it doesn't surprise me, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just John. It's an FSG. It's FSG. That's what.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises me with them. Nothing.
To tie a bow in this segment, there is some stuff at the end that could be a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Because basically, this journalist, I'm going to hand it to him here. They basically do a bit of journalism in regards to this. So the next bit is this journalist decided to ask him point blank, would you ever sell the Red Sox, Liverpool, or the Penguins? And then Henry says back to this journalist, my wife and I live and work in Boston. We are committed to the city, the region. So the Sox are not going to come up for sale. We genuinely don't sell assets. Now, to me, that leaves the door open to a potential sale of Liverpool, even though they are looking at a second club in a different country. It's all been set up. They've got the setup there. They've got Edwards is the head of football, not the head of Liverpool. Pedro Marquez. They've hired that goalkeeper who's the head of goalkeeping for FSG or something, daft like that, something. So it's all set up for them to get more clubs. But I do think that leaves the door open for Liverpool to potentially to be sold. I don't know if you guys have got any thoughts on that. Bri, have you got anything you'd like to say in regards to that straight away?
Well, to be honest, I'd like to see the sale. FSG, when they took over, I feel, I thank them for everything they've done because we have won everything underneath them. They did bring us Jurgen Klopp, but I think the club has grown out of FSG now. I think we're bigger than FSG now, with everything we've accomplished, and I think thank you for whatever you've done. Bye bye. I'd be happy to see FSG go, but obviously we need the right owners too. The next owners have got to be the right owners. They can't be tight asses like John Henry. We want owners that appreciate football, want to win, and they fans like us. They come to the games. Show your face.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. I'm happy to see the back of them. I'll be when that is.
Yeah. Sean, before I hand it over to you, I just wanted to add what Bri said there in regards to getting the right owners in. This whole Man City thing that's going on right now, I think could have implications on what FSG do with Liverpool. Because if Man City win this legal battle that they're doing in regards to being able to put whatever sort of sponsorship they want on the club with no regulatory checks or anything like that just is going to open the door to FSG to not even be able to start competing on that level. So I do think that if Man City win that, then it could open the door for FSG to sell. But what do you think?
Well, I think first of all, there's a common misconception that FSG are working well within financial fair play. and that they've always wanted to work well under financial fair play. It's worked under, it's Moneyball is what they're doing. And there was a thing in that article. FSG have become the modern blueprint for transatlantic sports empire, buying troubled institutions and restoring them. Is that for the love of football or for the love of money, I ask? Or the love of sport, or the love of money? And to me, it's the love of money. They buy up a club like Liverpool Football Club that was on the cheap, and they knew it would never be cheap again. Liverpool were never going to go into administration. It was too much of a big club. And it was a bottom of the barrel deal. And I think, the misconception of us, I mean, no one is asking for anyone to be spunking money up against the wall. We want necessary spending, not ludicrous amount of spending. We don't want to be like I mean, I heard Klopp going on about the Liverpool way. Yeah, the Liverpool way, that's grand, but don't make the Liverpool way anti-football or anti-spending money on a footballer, because our objective in every season is to achieve and to win. I don't really care about their bank balance. We all know that they're crooked. But you look at Chelsea, you look at Nottingham Forest, you look at what they spent.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we had financial backing the times when we needed it, I think we could have been looking at maybe other trophies. So in terms of FSG, I think they were very lucky under Klopp. I don't really know if this answers your question, Adam. If I'm going on a rant or
go,
whatever.
mate, go.
But
go.
I personally think that the Klopp has bought them more time. I think what's going to happen now with Slot is going to be a real teller. I will see what happens there.
Yeah, it's like Mike Red just said here. The amount of revenue we generate, the club could easily spend more and still abide FFP. 100%. Like, and I think last summer showed it. We were I'm not going off on a rant again, but when we were told that we was basically didn't go for Bellingham because we wanted to spread that money over more players rather than one. So we got McAllister, we got Szoboszlai, we got Endo. And then again, before we got Endo, we went in and tried to sign Caicedo for more money than it would have cost to have signed Jude Bellingham. It don't make sense. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. So yeah, it's just one of them, I guess. And like we say, we probably are stuck with them until they decide to sell up, unfortunately. But yeah.
You got a question?
Yeah.
Does anybody think that Caicedo deal was a bit odd? Like,
yeah.
Do you think there was something strange about that? Like, do you think we went in and we bid it knowing we weren't going to get them, but FSG wanted to do it just to look good? Like we're pushing for something.
So this is my theory on it. And it's probably shared by someone else as well. That when Jude Bellingham deal didn't happen, Jurgen flipped out behind the scenes. And I think the Caicedo deal was done to appease Jurgen. Because I remember watching the press conference after that bid went in, and Jurgen was just like, he was shocked. He was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? I think the reason why John W. Henry came over for that game, either the day after or the same day when that bid went in, is that he got wind of it and was basically like, no. That's kind of what I think about that. But yeah, I'm going to move on, guys, to the second to last segment, which is the transfer link. So I've got some that I want to cover off here. If anyone has any questions in the chat, pop them in. We'll get to them eventually. So first one I wanted to talk about was Yusuf Fofana. Now, this was a player that I mentioned that Liverpool could potentially go for. This was a player that I think Liverpool should go for. Fabrizio Romano has put a tweet out today saying that Yusuf Fofana will 100% leave Monaco this summer. Plan on both player and club side confirmed. No advanced negotiations yet, but Fofana feels ready for the new chapter for this summer. Now, just to give you a bit of background again on this player, he was rated the best midfielder in Ligue 1 of last year. He does play predominantly as a defensive midfielder. What's going on in here? Is that Sean?
No.
Shit, did I belch and you heard it? Did you?
Yeah.
Sorry, lads. Well, better out than in.
So he does predominantly play as a defensive midfielder, right-footed. His contract expires next year, guys. So this is why he may be available slightly cheaper than what he should potentially be going for. He scored 4 goals, 4 assists. He played 91% of the starting 11s and completed 88% of the minutes available to him. And he also had a 12% participation with goals last year as well. So for a defensive midfielder, that is pretty good. And also, defensive midfielder who likes to throw his body about and get a lot of tackles in, he only got booked 3 times last year as well. He is, I think I mentioned this, he is 25 years of age as well. So he has got a bit of experience on his side compared to some of the other people that Liverpool have been linked with in recent weeks. I do think as well that the main club that's been linked with him lately is Arsenal, but he is someone that I do personally think Liverpool should go for in the number 6 position. Have you guys got any thoughts on Yusuf Fofana from what I know we've spoke about him before in the past, but I just saw that tweet today from Romano and I just kind of thought, it's worth mentioning again today now that we've kind of had that one in regards to that. Like Anthony Boylan's put here, 32 league appearances, 4 goals, 4 assists from a defensive midfielder position. I think that's pretty good, that, to be fair. So, yeah, what do you think about that, Bri? I'll come to you first.
Yeah, he's exactly the type of player we need. 100%. He's got the experience. He's not injured a lot. He's a little bit higher on the FSG age end of the spectrum, but it depends what price we could get him for and what clubs, because we won't enter a bidding war. But if Liverpool's done their own work, they would have already registered interest in him. They were already inquired about what wages he'd be looking for. That's somebody I feel, we got Endo there at the moment. I feel that is an upgrade.
Yeah, 100%.
That is what takes us to the next level. That takes us to the next level. Whether Liverpool Football Club do it or not.
Yeah, I should probably mention as well, I do think that the price regarding him is between 20 to 25 million pound. So he's available for cheap because he's only got the 1 year left on his contract as well. That may rise if other clubs do get interested in it. It becomes a bit of a bidding war, which maybe Monaco want that to happen. And I think as well, also, when I covered him last time, Fabregas, when he played at Monaco with him, said that he should have gone to Liverpool over Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, a lot of them. He said that he would have fitted Liverpool's style of play better than any of them other ones. Shano, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Brian and yourself on it. I think he fits the profile, something that is needed, and good age. So, yeah, I mean, 32 league appearances, 4 goals, 4 assists, and no yellow cards.
3 yellow cards. Yeah, hard then for someone from that position.
Yeah.
And to be rated the best midfielder in Ligue 1 for the whole of last season. I know it goes without saying that that's not a good league, but when you're pulling out the best midfielder from over there, that's not something to think, is it? So, Anthony said here that he got an injury at the start of last season. And he got back to fitness. So, yeah, he missed thingy. So, it sounds like he got injured during preseason and stuff, basically. But, yeah, fine. Next up, guys, Liverpool have been linked with very, very weekly. Did I say weekly? Yeah, weekly. I meant like whatever, you know what I mean? With a goalkeeper from Feyenoord, and his name is Justin Bidgelow, if that's how you pronounce his name. Now, he is obviously probably lazy journalism, guys, regarding the whole slot thing.
Yeah.
But we do know the situation about Kelleher potentially having to move on this year to get more first-team football. If Alisson was to get injured again like he did last year, and he missed a fair amount of games last year, did Alisson, didn't he? I think, wasn't there one point last year where Kelleher actually ended up playing more games than him because he was gone for that long?
Yeah.
So we do need someone that can come in and be just as good, if not better, than Alisson. You know, that's probably a bit of a long shot, that last bit, but you know what I mean? So stat-wise, last year in the Eredivisie, this lad made 17 appearances. He conceded 14 goals and kept 8 clean sheets. He only made 50% of the starting 11s. He played 48% of the minutes and he didn't save any penalties. He's 26 years of age. His contract expires at the end of 2026. He has been linked with more predominantly with Arsenal of late, but Liverpool have creeped in there as well. He is from the Feyenoord Youth Academy as well, so he's spent basically his whole career at Feyenoord. His agency, just to quickly touch on that, is Forza Sports Group. Now, their number one player on their list is Jurrien Timber at Arsenal. His brother's on there as well, Quinton Timber, and there is another Feyenoord player that Liverpool have been linked with, again, probably just lazy journalism, in which is that Hartman who plays left back for Feyenoord. So, guys, question to you. I'll come to you this time first, Shauna. Is this a keeper Liverpool should be looking at as a potential backup to Alisson? Sorry, my mind went blank then.
I to be honest with you, I really take all of the rumors with a pinch of salt, especially when it has anything to do with Ernie Slot's former club. There's obviously going to be questions of us being linked with this player from his former club, that player. I think we're in a really difficult position this summer where we could be looking at losing 2 goalkeepers because there is a rumor.
Hector's just put that up there as well.
On This Is Anfield, where Adrian may go back to La Liga. And that was the link I sent to you there today, and Spectre's after saying it there as well. So I think we could be in a very, very find ourselves in where we were spoiled for choice. We could be in a position where we really need to look at the goalkeeping end of things. So it's really hard to know. I don't know anything about this player.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't myself.
I'm not going to claim to know anything about him. So I don't know. I'm sure if he's a goalkeeper, I'm sure he saved a few things. But I don't know anything about him.
Yeah. What about you, Bri, in regards to this Justin lad? And if we do lose Adrian and Kelleher, do you think obviously that just shows that Liverpool need to make major surgery at the back, because I don't think there's anybody in the the youth that seems to be getting a chance either, is there? So
I'm always of the belief that Liverpool, we need a very, very good backup goalkeeper because of Alisson's record. Alisson's probably the best goalkeeper in the world, but his injury record is probably one of the worst for a goalkeeper in the world. We need a very, very good goalkeeper, but we're not going to pay a lot of money for him, I can tell you that. FSG, Liverpool Football Club, will not pay £12 million for somebody who's going to be a second. So we're looking at bargain basements, freebies, or somebody that's going to cost us £4 million. That's all we're looking at. And I'm a firm believer the third goalkeeper should be a goalkeeper from the academy, because that's progress. That's how Kelleher got into the squad. He's come from our academy. He's got given a chance and he's run with it. Now, we have a good second goalkeeper and the other one should be from the academy. You've got to promote these guys. Like, you can't just, it's no point in them being in the academy. They're not going to be promoted. Third goalkeeper of Liverpool Football Club should be a young young keeper from our academy. That's what I firmly believe.
Yeah.
But we do need a very, very good second backup keeper for Liverpool Football Club. But I can't see Liverpool spending a lot of money on one.
No.
So I'd be looking for freebies or somebody that's on the last year at the contract where they've got. I'd say it's going to be an older goalkeeper this time. It's not going to be a youngster. I think we're looking more towards the 30-year-old age with experience, because I can't see us getting a young goalkeeper with a big future ahead of him to sit on the bench.
No, yeah, I agree. And I think the one that Spector's mentioned there, in Alex McCarthy, he has been linked with Liverpool for a bit as well. And there was the other keeper as well who plays for Sunderland. I can't remember what his name is now. Is it Patterson? I think he's called Patterson. He's only young though, and I'm sure he was mentioned with us like months ago in regards to that. But yeah, maybe a goalkeeper may end up turning out to be one of the areas that Liverpool make the most investment, because they're not probably going to make much investment elsewhere, are they, to be fair. So, and then the last player that I've basically got here, guys, for this week's transfers is Edison again at Atlanta. Now, Fabrizio Romano has touched on him a few times, and this is the recent comments from Fabrizio Romano regarding Edison and Liverpool. So I'll just read these out to you. He says, "We have heard reports of a bid from Liverpool for Edison, but what I'm hearing at the moment is that Atalanta have not received anything official. They know that there is interest, but they absolutely want to keep the player at the club. Why? Because there's the potential for Atalanta to sell Koopmeiners, with Juve leading the race for the Dutch midfielder. They have already advanced on personnel terms of Koopmeiners, and the idea of Atalanta is just to sell one player." Now, again, Edison is a player we have touched on in a previous stream, but just to give you a little quick reminder, he's Brazilian, 24 years of age. He can play either in attacking, defensive, or just as a central midfielder. In the Serie A last year, he made 36 appearances, 6 goals, 1 assist, 8 yellow cards. He made 84% of the starting 11s, completed 84% of the minutes, and also had a 10% goal participation in Serie A. And then I think there's an overall one, actually, because he played Europa League as well. Let's have a look. So, yeah, overall, for last season, 53 games, 7 goals, and 1 assist. Let's have a look. He's right-footed. His contract doesn't expire till 2027, so there's a few years left on his deal. His current market value is 40 million %, and the only interested club at the moment, it says on here, is Liverpool. Now, he hasn't got any sort of links with through his agency to Liverpool, I don't think. I'll have a quick look right now before we move on. I don't think so. But again, this seems to be a player that just doesn't seem to want to go away in regards to Liverpool, basically. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anyone here. Nah, there's nothing. So again, guys, do you think that this guy is potentially someone Liverpool should look at, could look at? Like, do you think there's anything in it? I mean, the wording around what Romano said there was, what was it? Nothing official. Like, that to me leads me to believe that maybe there's something going on unofficial. But, you know, that's just me, you know, coming up with that. There's nothing to say that there is. So what do you think about that, Shauno, regarding Edison from Atalanta?
Well, I remember warning someone about Romano, saying that he regurgitates stuff and then spouts off as his own. I mean, he mentioned that Real Madrid aren't going to play in the World Club Cup. And Ancelotti has come out and actually said, no, that's not the case. So I don't really know. Again, I'm always very skeptical to kind of answer to all these rumors, because, you know, you could say, oh yeah, we should go for him, and we end up getting someone else, or we were never in with him or for him or whatever. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it tends to be like either the club that knocked us out of the Europa League or the previous club that our head coach used to manage, that he's linked with. So it's a bit of I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
One thing I will say is that people are making links to Richard Hughes as well because he played for Atalanta. So they're saying that he's got a good relationship with the club, blah, blah, blah. Again, probably nothing. But Bri, what do you think of Ederson? Is that someone Liverpool should go for? Or potentially look
Yeah, I think he's. How old is he? Yeah.
I think he's 24, 26. I've closed it down now. I'll get it back up again while you're...
I think he's definitely fits profile type of the player that we're looking for. I mean, money wise, is 35 million. That sounds about right. He's a holding midfielder, which we're looking for. I think we've obviously shown interest. I don't
He's
think we.
24.
Oh, there we go. That's perfect. Obviously we're showing interest in the guy. But I don't know whether, I think Liverpool would know by now whether Atlanta would sell, and if they are going to sell, how much. I mean, if they're already selling one of their prize assets, if they were to sell Emerson too, I think obviously we're going to have to play a premium, aren't we? They're not going to sell both. So I don't know. I think I would be happy to see him come to the club. But I'm not too sure. But he's definitely the type of player we're looking for. That's the type of player we need, more importantly. So, yeah.
Nice. So we are going to go into the final segment of the... in fact, we check these comments actually before we go. Which you dick up. Yeah, Andy, that's right. I saw one earlier. It was about Elise. I don't think there's anything in that. I think, was it David who put that? Nothing in Elise. I reckon he ends up at Chelsea, Elise, if he goes anywhere. I would love him at Liverpool, not going to lie. I think he would be a definite good backup / I won't say upgrade, but like a potential replacement for Mo Salah. But yeah, I'd love him at Liverpool, to be fair. Right, guys, we are going to go into the last segment, and I do have actually something to transition us over into that, actually. And I don't think you've seen this, actually, Bri. I don't think. Let me load it up now. So here we go. We're going to go into it now.
About to catch another flight. The apple bottom make him want to bite. I just want to have a good night.
So, Shauno, it's time for the Monday Moan. Now, I want to try and set you up something here, because I've kept this one from you. I hadn't told you about this one yet, because I wanted to get your blood going. There's one here for you.
Go on.
It's all over The Athletic today that LeBron James to join forces with Virgil van Dijk as the United Talent Agency alongside the American agency Clutch Sports Group have been bought by another agency called Roof Agency. Now, these they represent Van Dijk, Mane, Havertz, Gnabry, Harvey Elliott, Tammy Abraham, and then in America they do LeBron James, Jalen Hurts, and people like that. So obviously this is a big deal, Shauno. This is a massive, massive deal that LeBron James and Virgil van Dijk are now going to be represented by the same type of people. So what's your thoughts on that?
Spectre said it right. James Bronze is the new Jason Cundy in my absolutely. They're two people that I cannot stand. And Jason's surname is an awful lot like what I would call LeBron James. If you took a D out and maybe added another letter. But I don't understand LeBron James. Like even the promotions that he did last season. All right, Virgil, my guy, I hear you're the new captain of Liverpool. Wow. I just get out of the club. You and your goddamn cartoon feet looking logo off her goddamn jersey. Stop putting that cheap shit on the Liverpool store. There's more. I'll tell you what. There is more selection in SD Designs 2020 on Redbubble and jackdesigns.uk than LeBron James Liverpool wear. I wouldn't wear any of it. It sickens me. So stick with your basketball and fuck right off.
Right, then go on then, mate. You lead the way with this Monday moment. What have you got for us today?
I'm too sick to be talking about LeBron James. That's just wound it up now. So while we're, in the habit of talking about, the Liverpool way and the morals and the principles and what have you, we tend to forget certain things that have been said about, our sponsors. You have a lot of the top content creators that talk about state-owned clubs and their nationality, their religion, human rights issues and what have you. But there was a thing there on the BBC, not that I listen to or read much of the BBC, but it says Liverpool sponsor Standard Chartered facing accusations they helped fund terrorists. New York court filings show fresh allegations against British bank Standard Chartered in relation to payments made towards businesses linked to terror groups. Now, this isn't the first time that they've been linked with this, so this is all this is all alleged. So you can't sue me. Liverpool's primary sponsors have been accused of carrying out billions of dollars for transactions for funders of terrorist groups, according to documents filed to a New York court. Standard Chartered, the British bank that has a 50 million per season deal with Liverpool, has previously been accused of carrying out thousands of transactions worth more than $100 billion from 2008-2013 in breach of sanctions against Iran. In 2012, the bank avoided prosecution over alleged money laundering by the US Department of Justice following an intervention by the British government when David Cameron was Prime Minister. It has paid more than $2 billion in financial penalties in relation to a number of sanction violations and due diligence failures. But a new filing submitted last Friday, seen on the BBC, by a former bank executive turned whistleblower, alleges that the US authorities overlooked or concealed evidence showing that the bank completed more transactions with Iranian entities, including terror groups, than admitted. The BBC reports that an independent expert has identified $9.6 billion of foreign exchange transactions with individuals and companies designated by the US government as funding terror groups, including Hezbollah, Hamas, Al Qaeda, and the Taliban. The submission from the whistleblower, Julian Knight, who was head of Standard Chartered Transaction Services unit from 2009-2011, says that the independent expert has analysed spreadsheets. And the expert claims to have found a further $9.6 billion worth of transactions involving companies designated by the US government as funding terror groups. In a statement, Standard Chartered said that the filing was another attempt to use fabricated claims against the bank following previous unsuccessful attempts, and the bank added, "We are confident that the courts will reject these claims as..." Someone disappeared there. As they have already done repeatedly. Liverpool Football Club have been in contact by Mirror Football. In February, the US Supreme Court dismissed a civil suit filed by the whistleblowers. It was previously been dismissed by a lower court. Standard Chartered has been, So that's basically it about Standard Chartered.
So I guess for me, I'll keep it short. If this is found to be true, legit and they get convicted of it or whatever it is that happens of these allegations, then Liverpool need to rip the contract up.
Absolutely.
It needs to be done. Backed out, everything like that needs to be ripped up. Yeah, that's all.
You can't cherry pick your morals and principles to suit a certain narrative. If you're against, let's say, the Saudis, or if you're against whatever, Abu Dhabi for human rights, well, then you have to look at the Americans and their human rights issues. And the same way as AXA, the same way as Standard Chartered. So, we've got to get down off our high horse and we've got to look at, okay, well, who are we actually affiliated with, and do they meet the requirements and the morals and the principles of our football club?
Yeah. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, well, exactly the same as you. If they're found guilty of it, they've got to go, eh? You can't be associated with anything like that. We're a global brand. We've got fans all over the world in every country. I mean, Liverpool Football Club can't not be associated or have the main sponsors that fund terrorism.
Yep.
What do the Americans say? We do not negotiate with terrorists.
That's a good one, that one.
I think that was Dave McLean or something.
Yeah, but yeah, I second that 100%. They've got to be gone. If whatever comes of this, but
Now, in saying that, I know they mentioned Hamas, Free Palestine, ladies and gentlemen. I just threw my little propaganda in there. I know I probably shouldn't, as it's a football YouTube channel, but there's that end of things, and then there is the most telltale fucking sign that Man City are 110% guilty. It's this bloody case that they put against the Premier League. And I can't get over, first of all, how can you put a case against the Premier League when a case is already going against you? Surely to Christ, that case or the outcome of that case would then suggest that you'd have a case against them, and therefore you could bring a case against them after the first case.
Yep.
So I don't know how in the Lord Jesus we have gotten to a point where we've now allowed a club like Man City, who have been in, the owners have been in the Premier League for long enough. They've signed to the rules and regulations of the Premier League. They know full well what the rules are. To all of a sudden say, well, we're not guilty of the 115, but we think this is unfair. We think this is unfair. We think this is unfair. And how any club can actually back City here after this, I'll never know.
Yeah, I think as well, I think I listened to Simon Jordan earlier on today, and he said that this whole thing could open up a whole can of worms, could this? Because he said, if it's the way, what is the phrase that City used? What was it? The tyranny of the majority of something like that. And he was like, don't you mean democracy? You are in a league where people have to vote on something. It's not so. And he mentioned something along the lines of, if you were to look at the whole footballing world, there's probably things in there that go against a lot of laws in the country anyway. Why do we have a restricted transfer window? Me, you, Bri, we could just up and leave our job whenever we want. We've got contracts. As long as we hand our notice in, we can go. Do you know what I mean? So why do football players have restrictions in that instance? And again, it's one of them other things as well. Just because you disagree with something, you put a case in against it. A lot of it doesn't make sense to me at all. And again, I said it earlier in the stream. If they win this case and they can do what they want in regards to sponsorship, the league is fucked. Like,
Yeah.
they'll be getting shirt sponsors for 400 million. And if this law's passed, Newcastle could become a new player because they've got owners that are even richer than City. Like, they're worth like something like stupid 300 billion or something daft like that. So if they were to just turn around and go, oh, yeah, we're renaming St. James's Park to something else, and we're gonna pay 5 billion to rename St. James's Park, and you can't stop us. Like, that would literally just, again, it would fuck the league. It really would. What do you think, Brian, on that?
To be honest, I can't see it getting passed. I think that won't get passed. That won't get passed. But what I would say is, it's just I've gone blank now. I've gone blank. Gone.
I mean, they're also seeking damages.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say now. So have the Premier League, because they put in this case forward, have the Premier League got the powers to kick them out of the league again? Let me say, right, if that's the way you want to play, we don't want you represented in our. We don't want to represent you in our league, and we get somebody from the Championship. Can they kick them out of the league?
I don't know.
You've then had like the government from Abu Dhabi then go to the British government and inquire about what's gone on with Man City and saying it may ruin relations between the countries. So it's gone to the stage where
that's not sporting then, is it?
No, it's not. But it's threatening. It's
threatening. But that's what City are doing, isn't it? City are threatening. They're threatening the league they play in, the champions for the last 4 years, and they're threatening that they're getting treated unjust. But they've been champion for the last 4 years. There's nothing unjust about that. Do you know what I mean? I think they're guilty. I think they're trying to blackmail the Premier League. That law won't be passed. It can't be passed. And I think the FA the Premier League should really look into suspending City for a year or doing something to say any other team that does this, we've got the power. They need to set a statement. Now, statement needs to be done because every team could sue the Premier League then. Do you know what I mean? I think it's got to be standards, and I think City are trying to make their own standards, and I think they need to be knocked on a peg or two, personally.
Yeah, I think Anthony's just made a statement. Was there a comment here? Like, he thinks something about, where's it gone now? Something about, I can't find it now. Is that one there? If you thought the rules were unfair, you should play by them and then make the case. It's obviously they were broken. They've broken them, and then now they've come with these kind of words. Do you know what I mean? So again, agree with that.
They're throwing the kitchen sink at not being answerable to the charges. That's it. And I think, regardless of what money you have, regardless of what you throw at it, you're going to have to be responsible for what is for
I think the Premier League are in catch-22, innit? They can't dismiss all these charges now because everybody would know City have got their way. They're in catch-22, and they can't let City win, can they? They can't let City. They've got to be punished some way. This is a problem now, isn't it? They've got to be punished some way, and City haven't glorified themselves by these claims they've made of taking them to court. They just look
even Paddy Power. Even Paddy Power are taking the piss out of them, and Paddy Power do it better than anybody else. If you want to sponsor Adam Naylor, please do. But Paddy Power have literally taken the Michael out of Man City. Going around in a van with an asterisk and like, I genuinely think if this goes on another season, it'll be a massive egg on the face of the Premier League. It'll be massive egg on the face of all the other clubs that adhere to financial fair play. And if you, and Domino's as well, that's right, Spectre, yeah. And like, if this continues any longer, there needs to be something done. There has to be something done. It's a travesty. Well, that's where they fucking want to be, Muscusi.
Doing the Saudi League.
You've honest to God, you've got to watch this film.
I'm gonna have to do now. I'm gonna have to watch it before we go live again next Monday. I'll have watched that movie, so make sure you're here again next week. You got anything else to moan about today, Shauna?
Only that I've got COVID since Friday, and I'm just in bed since Friday, so not really. I've the fact that I swear to God, lads, the fact that I've done this stream today is a miracle, because yesterday I couldn't even eat anything, and I've like taken all the boosters and vaccinations and had major question marks over them over the last while. But Jesus Christ, I hit. It was horrible. It's horrible dose.
Man, I appreciate you coming on. I really do. I didn't think you was going to be on, so I do appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the kind words that you, Shauna, and Brian, Martin have all said about the stream and everything today as well. It all goes, it's all appreciated. Like, I've got some promo videos that you've made for me over the past week or so as well, Shauna. So yeah, it all goes, I'm glad that I've met you guys in person as well, and being able to like do these streams with you. It's so good and everything like that. So I do appreciate everything that you guys have done for this channel over the past few months and whatnot. So yeah, thank you for that.
I'm sure, as Brian says, maybe we'll meet up again, and we might be able to do a live one in the same room.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I'll try and can do
hopefully
that.
Martin will have fucking clothes.
Oh, hopefully. Hopefully. Right then, I think I'll bring this stream to an end.
Can only.
Huh? What? Oh, is he gone? You there still, Bri?
Yeah, I'm still here. Frozen.
Oh well.
Yeah, I did want to bring something up. Didn't we sign another member of Arnie Slot's backroom staff last week?
Yeah, I think he got his visa or whatever passed or something like that. Peters or something. Is it Peters or something like that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he might have been him. I'm sure it is anyway. Sean has it chat. Hold on.
Real cold.
Just gonna message him now.
I
don't know. It's not my end. I thought it might have been my end, but it's not, is it? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take him out, and then so he's gone. So yeah, he's the head of sport analysis, is what Anthony says there. In regards to this, so yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll probably bring this stream to an end now. It's probably the longest one we've done. It's nearly 2.5 hours. So thanks for everybody that's been here with us from the beginning. Much appreciated, guys. Oh, Shauna, hold on a second. Is he coming back? I'm trying to end this now, Shauna, man. Come on. I do thank you to everyone that's been here. Make sure you hit the like button, share it with people, stuff like that. I am looking at potentially putting this out on podcast form as well, so you don't have to be looking at our ugly mugs all the time. You can just listen to our sultry voices afterwards instead. So yeah, I do appreciate everyone that's been here and everything like that. I do have a video to share from Cop Heights of Anfield, yeah, that he made this for. So yeah, guys, Sean back. So that video, guys, is it's from Cop Heights of Anfield. I am an admin over there as well. I do help out that channel, but yeah, the link to that, all the social medias for that channel are in the bios of the description of all my videos. So go give it a follow, guys. Good content over there. They don't share nothing that's clickbait or anything like that. It's all stuff that's worth your time, basically, like if you are a Liverpool fan. So yeah, we're closing things down. Sean, have you got any comments you'd like to say before we go?
Cop Heights. Was a Cop Height at Cop Heights of Anfield. Really, really good site. And obviously Wayne Henley, fantastic artist. Jack Designs UK do fabulous stuff. A few jerseys there that I've got from. He owes me. I mean, I should really have shares. And he doesn't do any promotion for me. No, I'm joking. SD Designs 2020. I even have like an Ernie Slot stuff there out. So if you want to buy some, might help with my
the COVID.
With my medical bills, with this, if you do a super thanks, it might help me with my medical bills.
No, I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you both being on. I know you won't be here next week, Sean, but
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. I could be, because I've had to cancel everything else because of COVID, so I might have to cancel next week as well. So I might be around on Monday, so you never know.
Cool. Nice one. So yeah, guys, we'll be back next week, 7:15 every Monday. We are here live streaming. Make sure you like, follow, share, do everything, comment, about this stream and everything like that. Appreciate everyone that's been here from the beginning. We've had a decent following, to be fair. It's never really dropped all stream, to be fair. I've had the same amount of people here for a while. So thanks for everyone that stuck around all this time. So yeah, other than that, guys, thank you all for being here. Thank you to Brian and thank you to COVID Shauno for being with us. Other than that, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.